First things first, is your hair long enough to get braided? If your hair is a short afro puff, I suggest you wait just a little bit longer. And yes, I do know that tightly coiled and kinky hair can stretch out. It is very deceiving. But I am talking about if you cannot fist your hair and it show up on the other end of that fist, your hair is just not ready. This is exactly why I created the fist test. That is a personal thing exclusive to me. I had to create something as a guideline for myself because what I noticed that was happening is girls were just trying to get into my chair and get knotless braids. And while I was excited and wanted the work, at the end of the day, I did not want to compromise the health of their hair for a protective style. And so I created the fist test. If you can make a fist around your hair and some hair peeks out at the top, your hair is long enough and I have enough wiggle room to braid your hair. If you grab your hair at the root and make a fist and there's no hair coming out of the other end, you need to wait another month or two and get some more length before you book a braid appointment. To stop glorifying the stylist or the braider's ability to grip and grab hair, we don't want to grip and grab your hair anymore. Trust me, it will make a difference in not only your headache, but in how you treat your hair. Treating your hair gently, tenderly would set the bar and set the standard for what you allow your hair to be treated like to others. Take a break, wait a little while, and allow your hair room to grow before you get that next protective style. The second point that you want to pay attention to is shedding. Shedding is normal. Hair that sheds is healthy hair and it's fully intact, root to tip. I'm not talking about breakage where it's little short pieces, but shedding is normal. What's not normal is excessive shedding. So if you notice that your hair is shedding excessively, do not cover your hair with braids. Get to the bottom of the issue and then proceed with a protective style. The last thing you want to do is cover up something that needs your attention health-wise. You are the priority here, not a pretty hairstyle. Let's talk about traction alopecia. Traction alopecia is caused from pulling and tightness. This is not only from braids, but for this conversation, we're talking about tightness at the root, especially at the hairline. So when you have traction alopecia, your scalp becomes inflamed and the hair is pulled so tightly that you can build pus. Some people get scarring, bleeding. It's not a pretty sight. If you have traction alopecia, you have to be careful about the type of protective styles that you choose. More so, if it's something that is fresh, right, or recent, you must give your hair a break. By continuously putting braids in your hair and protective styles, all you're doing is continuing to irritate the issue. Some traction alopecia is not reversible and the hair will not grow back. Make sure that you understand what's going on with your hair first. See a dermatologist if you have to, see a trichologist if you have to, but get answers and take a break before your next braid install. I think you're going to be guilty of this one, but chances are you have trichoptilosis. Trichoptilosis is the technical term for split ends. Do not cover your hair with braids if you have split ends. Hair grows from the scalp. If you do not get rid of split ends, it will continue to split. I don't care what that product you have told you, nothing cures split ends but a trim. Yes, you should trim your hair before a protective style. Yes, you should trim your hair before braids. I didn't say the day before, but definitely at least a week or two before you decide to get a braided style. Give your hair a chance to grow and flourish in peace while you cover it up, so that when you take your braids out, you can actually enjoy your hair. You will thank yourself later. Let's talk about elasticity. This is the next checkpoint here before your next protective style. When your hair is wet, can you stretch it and then it returns back to the coil, or does it kind of stretch and then slowly wiggle up? This test is just a quick way for you to check the life of your hair. Hair is not alive. Once it leaves your scalp, it's not alive. That's not what I'm saying. But you know, sometimes you might feel like my hair is lifeless, my curls are dull. All of these are a sign that your hair might need a treatment or something before you get a protective style. So take the time to make sure that your hair is at its best, and then you can do other fun things to your hair. Your next checklist item is your scalp. Do you have what I'm calling a happy scalp? This is all broken down in chapter 2 of Beyond the Braids, but I just want to talk to you one-on-one and make sure that you understand that having a happy scalp is the basis for everything. I think sometimes people forget that hair grows from the scalp, and so that environment has to stay clean. This is why when my clients get braids, I remind them to clean your scalp. It's not so much about the ends of the hair, it's about the scalp. So when the hair grows out of the scalp, it's growing into a clean and fresh environment. There are so many things that can trigger issues in your scalp: stress, medications, sickness, things that go beyond the physical realm, right? And so when your scalp triggers an inflammation or has flaking even, you want to make sure that it's not something that can be treated over the counter versus something that really needs medical attention. So don't just cover it with grease or other bad habits. Absolutely get to the bottom of scalp issues before you put a synthetic fiber in your hair that could potentially irritate it even further. How your hair feels is probably the first sign that something is wrong. Does your hair feel brittle? Does it feel extra dry? Yes, coily, kinky, afro textured hair is a little drier fiber, but there should still be a softness to the hair. It should not feel brittle. It should not feel dull. It should still have a natural sheen to it, right? As long as you're doing what you have to do, your hair should be responding positively. If you notice that your hair just doesn't feel good or doesn't feel right, again, this could be alerting you to a bigger issue, because you don't want to cover things for weeks or sometimes months, I don't know about y'all, and not have the answer that you need. So take care of your hair first. Last but not least, I want you to make sure that you have checked your calendar and saw that the last braid install you had was at least 6 weeks ago. At least 4 to 6 weeks at least. Why is that? Your hair needs a rest. Even for knotless braids that are not as heavy and is not pulling your hair and as irritating as other braid styles, you have to give your hair a chance to breathe. At the end of the day, you're adding weight to your hair. And what sometimes happens is, because knotless braids feels lighter and you're flinging and tossing, people have the habit to throw it up more frequently in a hairstyle, creating the tension that they are so glad the braids did not provide. Make it make sense. So please give your hair a break. Give your hair a chance to just breathe before you just use it as an anchor for the next hairstyle. Your hair will thank you for it.